most recently, I interviewed Iranian professor Dr. Muhammad Marandi, and he talked a lot about how this is not really the end of the resistance, as a lot of people have been saying. It's more about re-strategizing the ways in which to support resistance movements in the region. And so I got to have his perspective from Iran, and it would be great to get your perspective on the future of the resistance movement in terms of...
Definitely right.
Yeah.
Because I'm not speaking my wishes here. It's not wishful thinking. Manar, in 1982, there was an Israeli tank in Beirut. In 2000, Lebanese people freed their prisons from the Israeli prisons in southern Lebanon and kicked the Israelis out. So this is a proactive, native, indigenous, righteous movement. It cannot stop. As long as we are breathing in our land, we are doing the act of resisting, because their purpose is to annihilate all of us and to take our land. That's it. So the act of resistance is every day, by breathing, by having heartbeats, by making families, by thriving, by learning new ways how to deliver our cause and our existence over here. And as per the actual weapons and the fighting groups as resistance groups, 1982, when everyone was thinking it's the end, the Israeli soldiers were having coffee in Hamra street in the middle of Beirut, because they're that empowered and free. They didn't think anybody would say anything. They're having coffee in Wimpy, in Hamra, in the middle of the day. And a college student, an AUB student, American University of Beirut student named Khalid Alwan, he killed 3 soldiers like that. And basically he ended his future. He stopped being a college student at that point. He started becoming a resistance icon. But since that operation, that resistance operation in a wimpy coffee shop in Hamra Street in Beirut, it started becoming an avalanche. Every kind of resistance group was empowered to do something. This man was a Syrian social nationalist, and today the Syrian social nationalists are actually fighting the Israelis till date, the same party. But many other parties joined, and there was a nationalistic, like a whole Lebanese kind of resistance from every sect. We have martyrs, women, Lola Aboud, Christian, Shia, Druze. And that kind of resistance, which was like lone wolf operations, systematically bred into the empowerment of a total generation to form what later become Hezbollah. So today, when you listen, when you look around, you say, okay, Sayyid Nasrallah was martyred. He's one person. Okay, Syria fell. It was already devastated. So you tell me they are annihilating people in Gaza. They were doing it all the time. But the difference today is that we have a lot of people over the world that are now enlightened to our cause. We have gained a lot of stamina and weapon making in handmade rockets, for God's sake, in Gaza, in ballistic missiles in Yemen that are stopping billion-dollar trade, in weapons like drones that are made in Lebanon by Lebanese young people. So these capacities as a people I can only see them as added up. And we are like stronger, we are more experienced. And the final defeat, if we want to call it a defeat, if some people think that fighting the whole empire and remaining on your ground is not a victory, I would take that narrative and say, okay, we were defeated last time. But if we were defeated, we learned a lot of new methods and tools to get back on our feet and continue our life here. And as long as we are here, this is our resistance. I cannot and I refuse to see it as the end, because this means I have to pack my things and go become a refugee and bring any birthright tourist from Manhattan and give him my home. Yeah. So it is only destiny for us to remain faithful and to remain believing in our rights. It's our right, you know.
Absolutely. And it's so refreshing and raw to hear from people on the ground who have been personally affected by this. From Israel's expansionist policies, from the United States' Western imperialist agendas in the region, to hear their perspective and to truly understand, the organizing, the grassroots organizing, and the local resistance that are taking place. Because here in the West, the media always frames things through the lens of like human rights versus like dictators, or human rights versus like terrorism, or democracy versus terrorism. But in reality, there's a lot more to that.